One word tweet. Send it in. What do you think? What word could you give to describe this magical sighting that we are witnessing at the moment? Hashtag Safari Live, and I'm sure there's going to be some good ones. Senzo, do you have a one word tweet? But you must hashtag Safari Live, otherwise it doesn't go through. No, I'm joking. Wow. Oh, look at that. Oh my goodness. All I want to do is go clack, 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 with my camera as well. All of it. I promise you the allergies might come about in a moment if it carries on like this. Chantal says, I need it for Instagram. Don't worry, Chantal, I think I may have got one or two, but now it's looking really, really quite spectacular. And actually, my camera was malfunctioning. All the technologies is not working today, but that's okay. At least you are all enjoying it. Look at that. Just absolutely wow. Now, a moment ago, obviously he was turning his head, he was looking south, not the direction that he's looking at in the moment. That was where the zebra are. He's looking north now. And I wonder if he isn't maybe smelling the Styx lions coming from the south. Like I said, the wind is coming from the southeast at the moment. Oh my goodness, Senzo, that is amazing. I don't even know what to say anymore. Right, I believe that there are a couple of responses for the one-word tweet. I thought a few of you might, of course, to describe a lion, majestic lions. Although, you can use that word for lots of different things, but it's very suiting this afternoon. Can I please have that name again? I'm so sorry, I missed the beginning part. Oh, come to reality. There we go. You say, awesome. This is an awesome-tastic sighting, isn't it? Like I said, you could go on and on and on and on. Someone gets the thesaurus out. Oh my goodness, I almost got tongue-tied on the word thesaurus. How ridiculous. And just completely blending into the vegetation. I'm still honestly amazed. And can you believe I'm about to say this? I hope that within the next couple of days I do get an opportunity to not have too much action and see what the vegetation is sort of looking like at the moment, because in just the few kilometers I've driven today, it's just, I can't believe the change. There's nothing left, it's bare, which is great for us, of course. It makes game viewing and finding animals a lot easier. But lions, you will always be my favorite cat. Remember, hyenas are my second favorite animals, but I think lions come in at a close third. You have to have a lot of patience with them. You really do. But it always pays off in the end, doesn't it? Wow, look at that. Now, Mason, you're wondering how strong is a lion with our bare hands, and Impala would even give us a run for our money, but they can do it very, very, very easily. And I just think it's amazing. Now, until you see a lion taking down a large prey species for yourself, you can really only just take my word for it. But like I said, they take down giraffe, they take down the tallest animal in the world. They're able to bring them down. Young elephants, fully grown buffalo bulls, one of the most dangerous animals in Africa. They'll take down hippos. They'll go after too. So really, lions are a force to be reckoned with. You're a beautiful boy. Now, Michelle, you're wondering if it's hard for me to resist to go and snuggle with him? Not really. I think I don't actually know who I'd rather snuggle. I find the elephants very sweet and if anything, cute. I love the lions, of course, but I just know, like we were saying, how powerful they are and how sharp those teeth and claws are. So I'm okay with not snuggling them, and I don't think that they'd be good snugglers. I don't think that their coat is as soft and smooth as well what his mane looks like at the moment. I mean, it honestly does look like he's been to the salon and he's recently had his hair done, and that's not the case. I don't think you'd be able to run your fingers through his mane. I've never touched a lion before. I've actually never felt any of the big cats, and I'd like to one day, just for sort of purposes. I'd really like to have a look at their paws. So hopefully I'll be involved in some form of a game capture, or perhaps research where they're doing blood tests on animals, that type of thing. That might be an opportunity. to see these animals up close. But for now, it's okay, and I'm okay just sitting here watching them. I'd rather snuggle a dog and a cat that shows affection towards me. I did lots of snuggling of dogs today before I got here. Roshni, you've said that you'd love to snuggle this fella. He looks so dreamy. So shall we give him the nickname McDreamy? I suppose it's quite fitting. But like I said, it's a toss-up between him and Nena. Between who are the two, the most good-looking lions out of them all. Now, what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to share a photo with all of you later. I'm going to have to try and dig one out. So I love the Birmingham boys. They're really great, and they weren't my biggest. Well, I wasn't their biggest fan when they first arrived, but they've definitely grown on me. Now, there's one of the first reserves I ever worked at. There was a beautiful male lion. His name was Mondoro, and that is the most photographic, beautiful lion I have ever seen in my entire life. I'll try and dig up a photo that I took, but I wasn't really photographing back then, so I may even share a friend of mine's picture, and I'll just show you what a lion looks like. But now, well, no, obviously you all know what a lion looks like. Very important to finish all sentences for all the young ones out there. Don't do what I do and get distracted all the time. But what's really amazing, and the reason why he's so good looking, is because it's a private game reserve. It's fenced off, so he's not a free roaming lion like what we are looking at the moment. And this lion can go from here to Mozambique if he wanted to, or to Zimbabwe, no problem. Now, that's quite a big game reserve, 25,000 hectares, not small, and there weren't any other males at the time. His dad and his father and his father's brother, so his uncle, I suppose, unfortunately passed on due to old age. They lived for quite a long time, and anyway, he's on his own now. I think there's a younger up-and-coming male too, which will eventually take over. But he's beautiful. He has barely got a scratch on his face. Also, dark mane. He's from his father. What's wrong with me today? His father was from the Kalahari, so typical dark maned lion. Really, really pretty. But I like character. I'm all for notches in ears, scars across eyes. I think it really sort of camera action. A good opportunity for you to all take some screenshots, because we don't get to spend too much time with Nsuku. He's a very laid-back lion, very relaxed, but they all are, of course, with the vehicles. So it seems to be a trend, perhaps. There's sleeping sickness amongst the cats. Tristan's with Thamba, and he's also decided to have a cat nap.
Well, I think so, Tayla. I think in this horrible wind that we've got blowing this afternoon, there's nothing better than to catnap. And I was just saying to Seb now, I was thinking about moving on, but I so would like to see if Thandi arrives this afternoon. It would just be such a nice wrap-up to, the last 4 drives that we spent with Thamba. It would be just so great if we saw that return of Thandi and them interacting and then moving off and out of this area. It would just be such a nice way, like I say, to wrap up our little story of Thamba over the last few days. So hopefully runners' tracks come towards the central part of the property and then they lose them. Now that gives me an idea that maybe, just maybe, Tingana and Thandi might be together, because I had tracks for a female leopard going up Philemon's dip this morning on the way home, going towards quarantine, and Tingana's tracks theoretically were heading in the same direction, and I wonder if those two didn't meet up again and might potentially be together during today. So time will tell. I'm sure if one of them is around, they will show up on the dam cam at some point. Both of them seem to like making guest appearances at the dam cam, so maybe one of them will show up. But for now, Thamba, he's just fast asleep and really is not too interested in anything that's going on. I think he's cold more than anything else. He was active while the sun was up, but now the sun's gone down, he's curled up into a tight ball. Lisa, you ask, slowly but surely diminishing and becoming less and less, and you're entering in a situation where soon he's going to be pushed out on his own, unfortunately. So these time spans between mom coming back is quite long nowadays. She doesn't obviously have to suckle him, so as long as he's well fed like he is, she can go 3-4 days without coming back and he'll be just fine. So it's okay for him. He's a big boy, he'll be able to handle himself. I'm sure he just wants mom to come back because it's a meal at the end of the day, and like we were saying earlier, probably craves a little bit of company. Remember that he's been with mom for a year and that's what he knows, so he's not sure when mom isn't around. Interestingly enough, though, I can hear oxpeckers calling, which potentially means that there is a prey animal that is moving in this direction. You can hear the oxpeckers flying all around us now all of a sudden, and they've just started, so maybe something like impalas or nyala or kudu is moving towards where we are now, and also to seek shelter from this wind, and could then mean that Thamba might pick his head up and have a little look around. But this has certainly been the most sleepy we've had him over the course of the last 4 drives. He's been a lot busier than this for the last 4, so I suppose he's deserved his rest. He's certainly entertained many a person as we've followed him around, so I'm hoping that it will continue, that he'll stay around though, even if Mom does come back. Leslie, you say, wow, lion and now leopard, bingo. Well, Leslie, we've had the most incredible run this week. We've really been spoilt. In fact, not even this week, in the last 3 weeks, I would say. We find that we've had lots and lots of sightings of cats, and we've had a few drives where we've had both lion and leopard on Djuma, which has really been quite something. So we've definitely been very, very spoilt, and I'm super excited that the lion stuck around and that Tayla got such a big welcome back to work. It's such a nice thing when you get back from a leave and you get into the bush and it's not quiet and you get just straight into it and you get amazing sightings. It certainly does help. So I'm super glad for Tayla, and I hope that it continues on this trend for her and that she also gets crazy sightings, because myself and Sebastian have been very spoiled this week, and we certainly are very thankful that we've been able to see what we've seen. Yeah. That's for sure. So it's just hopefully going to carry on for much longer. We've got this, we've got this cold front coming in, and I'm hoping that doesn't mean that they're all going to go into hiding like they are right now in the thick bush and curled up. Now, while we sort of see if these oxpeckers are going to reveal a prey item that could potentially get Thamba going, let's go back across to Tayla and the beautiful Nsuku and see how he's doing and whether or not he's imitating Thamba's same curled position.
He's sat up again. I think he's in 2 minds about what he's going to do. His typical cat instincts are going, I just sleep for a little bit longer. Let's go have a quick nap. That's exactly what's going through his mind. But the other instincts are also kicking in. He's hearing things, his sense of smell is heightened, and I don't know why he didn't react to all those impala alarming. It's actually quite bizarre to me, because where he is sitting, that sound would have travelled straight towards him. There's no way that he couldn't have heard what was going on. Any other lion, even a leopard, would have got up and would have raced towards that commotion. But anyways, he didn't. He decided he was going to stay here. And I'm sure he's well aware. I'm sure he can smell that the lions are just on the other side. They seem to be moving west too, so it wouldn't surprise me if they pop out around Baboon Pan, or maybe even just a little bit further south of that, maybe just out of our sort of reach. So I don't know what he's going to do this evening. Maybe he's waiting to hear a roar from maybe the Nkuhuma Pride, or perhaps one of the other coalition members from the Birminghams, or even from the Sticks, and perhaps he'll decide then. But at the moment, he's just taking it easy. He's in no rush to go anywhere, and he's quite happy to pose for us, which is fine. It suits me, actually suits me quite well. He's been a gorgeous boy. Very lucky to be able to sit here. Every now and then the birds get quite close to him too, but he doesn't seem to be bothered by that. All tucked up again. It really does blend in with the vegetation at this time of the year. See that? He goes to put his head down and then he gets distracted by something. And that's the thing though, is when lions do sleep, we sometimes hear them snoring, which is quite funny and amusing. Even if they are snoring, they're still listening, they still know exactly what's going on around them, except when you're as quiet as a mouse and you run up and run into a lioness. I had such a laugh at that sighting, and I just think Tara was so lucky to experience something like that. So I'm glad that the animals behaved while she was here. It sounds like she got a good Africa fix. So that makes all of us very happy, especially when you travel that far. That was very brave of that mouse. I'm still convinced that it's some form of initiation. If it was a mouse or a bushveld gerbil, what confirm it. I think what my brother said to me the other day, I had a laugh at my younger brother. He said, if it happens 3 times, then isn't it a proved theory? I was like, probably not, but okay. He's a funny lad, that one. He's not particularly fat, so surely he's got food on the mind. Paul Meter, now you've said that you actually make your children watch these live streams as part of their education. That is fantastic, and hopefully they learn a thing or two, probably from Tristan and the other presenters. Me, maybe not so much. Maybe I can just make you laugh. However, I think it's very important. So when I was growing up, obviously I was very lucky. We had a TV, and I was allowed to watch TV, but actually I was quite good in the sense of educational. I actually preferred to watch National Geographic or BBC, all these shows that have various documentations. An animated documentary. I don't even know, I just created a word. Maybe it's already a word there. I'm so good at doing these spoonerisms. It's so fantastic. Anyways, I used to watch a lot of the documentaries. I can't even say the word now because I feel like I'm saying it wrong. I'm just not going to say the shows that they make about animals. That wasn't live. I don't know what's wrong with me. Help, Chantal, help. I hope that you're giggling. Oh my goodness. Apparently I should go for English lessons as well while I'm on holiday. I don't know. I apologize. I think I'm just so excited. I'm so happy to be back, and not only has my team or our team been so welcoming to have me back, they're putting on a very good act and pretending that they're happy to have me back. They're great actors. I mean, I don't know why they haven't won any Oscars. And then of course, well, the animals have also proved that today. So I think I'm a little bit overwhelmed, which is something that you won't really see me, sort of the state that I would never really get there. Embarrassment, I think you've seen me get there once, and that was recently when I said reproduce instead of reposition. Yeah, that was so awkward. My dad still tells me about it. He said he watched that clip over and over and over again. My dad's a silent watcher, and he doesn't comment or participate or anything like that. He's not a fan of social media, but he said he found that absolutely hysterical. And I was like, I'm so glad you could laugh at my misfortune, you know. But anyways, beautiful. Look at the sky now. We went from, an orange skyline to now pink and blue. Paul, you said that, oh my gosh, now I'm gonna die of embarrassment again. You said it was fantastic to have me on the YouTube chat the other day. Oh, it was short-lived. It was quite funny though. I had a good laugh. It kept me entertained for most of the day. My mom actually came into my room because it was early-ish, I think, in the morning, and she said, "What are you laughing at?" And then I told her what had happened, and it was really quite funny. So yes, it was me. It was me. I'm too scared to go back to YouTube. I'm just teasing. I'll come back to YouTube. I promise. I absolutely promise. When I'm not driving again, I will not use Twitter so much because I'm forever on Twitter. I will give equal amounts to even the viewers that are watching on YouTube, because I forgot that you can actually. Absolutely hopeless when it comes to technology. That's why I'm a bush girl. I even struggle. I go home and I look at the TV remote and I'm sort of holding it the wrong way. My dad just looks at me and says, no, turn it around. And then I try and change the channel and I've muted everything. Hopeless. At one point my mom used to phone me often, and she said, I don't know what I've done to the TV, and I'd have to try and guide her. I can't do that anymore. I get stuck. I phone my brother now. Something's happened with my mobile. I don't know how to do it, and he has to go through all the settings. Or when Connor was here, I just used to hand things to Connor. Connor, it's broken. I don't know, fix it for me, and then it'd be as simple as turning it on and off again. Never underestimate the power of turning things on and off. That's sort of my go-to thing now. Hey, Sensor, you do it with the cameras as well. Hey, just reset, and then it normally works. It's fantastic. I'm in two minds now. What's the time here? Okay, so do we sit with him a little bit longer? He looks very content at the moment in Suku. Or to go look for other things. I'm trying to, what Chantal says I must flip a coin. Hang on, wait. Let me search in my box of tricks. I might have a coin. I've got a passport. I've got notebooks. I've got sunscreen. I have to have a coin in here. I've got a feather. I have the scorpion torch. That'll be nice when the scorpions come back. No coins in that. I'm digging in my box of tricks now. Let's put the passport back though. I don't have a coin. Senza, do you have a coin? Should I check my pockets? No, nothing. What can we flip? Should we dig in the tech box? Okay, right. I'm going to find something that we can flip to decide whether we're going to stay or go. Thamba has spotted something in the distance.
Well, Thamba has just been chased away here. Look, here comes Tingana. He's arrived on the scene as well. So he's just been chased by Tingana. No sign of Thandi, but Thamba knows that straight away without Thandi being here that he needs to move on, and he's quickly run away. So how's this? We don't have just one T, we've got another T. So it's all an all T drive. Now I'm gonna try and see if I can sneak through here quickly to try and keep up with these two. There's a bit of a bump that I've got to go over. Oopsie. Sorry, Seb, you're gonna have to do some serious acrobatic. Wait. We're gonna have to reverse. Hold on. No, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to stick with these two. You know what, Seb? Let's try go around rather. It's gonna be easier. Don't stress. Don't stress. We're not gonna get around the corner here. So we're just trying to work our way out of this particular area because it's very dense and very thick, and I've got to try and keep up with these leopards. So far it seems as though Tingana is going to actually just stay still for me, which is great news. And I was saying earlier that there were Franklin's alarm calls, and then basically spike thorn to the face, don't need that, and then basically looked at him and kind of made a little growl sound, and Thamba then took it and ran. I think thought initially it might have been Mom, but soon he started chuffing, and then when he didn't get a response, there's Tingana. He's actually busy sniffing around. I wonder if he can't smell that tortoise. I think it's Tingana. It looks like him. Is it not? I'm just trying to see the ears in case it could be Mvula. No, it might be. No, who is it? No, it's Tingana, for sure. No, it's not Tingana. Who is this? It is Tingana. It is him. No, it is him. Yeah, he's got the little smiley face on his shoulder. There he is. So for a second there, his nose looked quite different, but it is Tingana for sure. So he's come in. Like I say, little Thamba has run off southwards, and I think Thamba potentially is on the other side. Now Tingana is striding around, sniffing that tortoise carcass that Thamba had earlier. There we go. You see he's got his nose down, smelling. Yeah, that southwards, or carrying on southwards. I don't think he's going to end up chasing Thamba around. He's asserted himself already as the dominant male by just imposing himself over Thamba, and good on Thamba for realizing that he's not going to stand up to a big male. So they're down this side. Now where's Tingana? Tingana's going that way. No, he's coming back. He's coming back. Now, I don't know if Tayla, if she wants to, she's more than welcome to head towards Thamba, because I don't know where he's going to end up. But let's see if we can't stick with Tingana as he goes along, and while we do that, let's go across to Tayla and see what she wants to do. I believe something about flipping coins, which means no doubt Tayla is up to something once again.
Haven't found a coin yet to flip, but we found a plover. We're still at Twin Dams. That's fantastic. Our three-banded plover nest was successful because those little ones should have indeed hatched at some point. So that'll be exciting. Oh, look at you, got a little meal. What you eating? Little grasshopper that unfortunately had died because it got too close to the water. Another one. You're the water, and they end up drowning. Again, it's the circle of life. It's just one of those things. Even though it was unfortunate for those two grasshoppers, it made for a fantastic meal for this three-banded plover. I'm really, absolutely, really amazed at the quality of these new cameras. This is incredible. Now I'm watching on my monitor. This is so fantastic. And Senzo again. Wow. Look at that. It's gone now. It's behind the car. Very shiny bonnet. Yep, I'm back. I was cleaning away. I've got to get rid of these oil spots though. Not happy with them, so we'll have to clean them. Relocate on Thamba. I'm just at Twin Dams. I feel like I've all of a sudden gone close. Tristan may talk more than me. Okay, copy, no, that's no problem. You hang tight then. I'm going to leave this Ngala for a little bit. I'm going to go check Treehouse Dam out. I'll come back a bit later. Just quickly watch your lock. Just want to find out whereabouts Tristan is. Okay, so Tristan's actually not too far away. Okay, copy. I'll come back to Nsuku a little bit later. So, very exciting. Tristan has just said that Tingana has turned and is now back on the trail of Thamba. So what most likely will happen is that the two of them will meet up again. So I'm going to let Tristan carry on that side. And let's take a break. You may have just heard me talking on the radio. We'll go to Treehouse Dam, have a quick look there, and race back this way. But it seems as though the spots are back in view again. Let's go across to Tristan.
Well, you can see Tingana, he's looking up into this big jackalberry tree, and I think he's sniffed out that there's something around here as well. And maybe it's the carcass that the hyenas stole the other day. You can see he's staring up into it, and he's right next to the car at the moment. He's literally sitting right next to us, and he is so much bigger than Thamba. Now that we get to see him up close, he really is a much bigger individual, and Thamba's got a bit of growing to do before he's going to be able to compete with the likes of that. But there, look, you see how he's staring up? Sinak, you're wondering how high a leopard can jump? And so you'll find with a leopard, I've seen them jump in terms of height, in feet, I would say probably close to maybe 18 foot into the air. So quite high is the answer. They're very agile. They've got huge amounts of power in their shoulders and in their sort of back legs particularly. I think he's certainly looking out for where Thamba went. I'm hoping that though he's going to just leave it and run off. I don't know where Thamba is. The last time I saw him was just on top here, but he was moving around and kind of trying to trot off a little bit, and certainly Tingana is still sniffing and still trying to see where this leopard is, and there will be lots of scent here because of the amount that Thamba has spent in this area. Beck, you're saying, did I inform Tingana of our drive time change because he's far too early? Yes, I agree. I think he's obviously missed what's been supposed to be happening. So our last minute leopard has actually not shown up last minute for a change, which is a nice change. There he goes. You see he's heading straight up to where Thamba ran off just now. And look how his nose is down. He's sniffing. He's trying to work out what's going on. I think because there's probably so much scent here, he's probably thinking that there is some sort of carcass in this area, and that's why he's looking so much and checking around, trying to see what's going on. But look at the thickness of Tingana's neck. When you see him, you realize that Thamba's got a lot of growing to do and a long way to go before he's going to become a massive individual like Tingana, and he certainly is not going to be able to compete for a territory anytime soon when you've got boys this size around. Look at that. Oh, isn't that amazing? And our luck continues. I don't even know how much luckier we can get. I think the only thing is if we get something like a pangolin or an aardvark, but certainly it's been as good as we could possibly hope for the last little bit. Sorry Seb, it's a bit of a rough bump coming down. Now it looks like potentially Tingana is going to walk a little bit further south, which is good news. I'm hoping that he does keep going south and allows little Thamba a break to get away, and we don't have to worry about him then too much. Poor Thamba, I've had lots of stress about him today between the Styx Pride and Tingana. It's tough being a young male leopard and being a safari guide, because you get so invested in these things that it's like a roller coaster of emotion, and I'm sure for a lot of you as well it's the same. Now look, he's looking up. Have you spotted Thamba on top there? No, he's still ambling now. Now the next thing is, if Tingana keeps walking this way, in all likelihood he's going to walk straight into Nsuku now, because if he goes southwards, that's where we're heading. We're heading straight towards Twin Dams. He might cross over line. We might get not only this leopard walking into another leopard, but walking into a male lion as well, which is just absolute bizarre. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens from here. He certainly looks as though he's now given up on looking for Thamba. He's sniffing around, but he's not really as intent and as focused as he was just now. I think he thought maybe he got a chance. You see, look, he smelt where Thamba ran up the hill. Look there, he's now picked up the scent. That's exactly where the tracks are for Thamba running. You can see just in front of him, there goes. So he's now picked up, okay, there's another leopard here. This leopard, now I'm able to work out who that leopard is. I'm pretty sure he's smelt that before. Now, unfortunately, he didn't seem to be climbing on board. Tingana around and see what he does. Let's go back to Tayla and see where she is.
How exciting. So much is unfolding. Where are my lights? No, oh, they were on. They're just not very bright just yet. Still a little bit light. So we had a quick look at Treehouse Dam, and all I found was Aubrey and William and his guests having a wonderful sundowner, though I don't know if I would care for a cold beverage this evening. I think I'd probably prefer something on the warmer side, or, well, something that at least would warm my insides. So what we're going to do now is, I just wanted to have a look. I thought maybe we would stumble across, I don't know, something magical, but it was a nice sighting to watch the guests enjoying themselves, so I suppose that was magical. We will jump back onto Gari Main now. We're just coming off onto Weaver's Nest, and I think, you know what, we might as well spend it with Nsuku. We've invested so much time this entire afternoon. I think it would be a little bit silly of us, right, to not see where he ends up. Hopefully he's still going to be there. So I'm actually trying to go a little bit quicker. Players can move, especially when they don't use our pathways. They can navigate through the thicker vegetation a lot quicker than I can. Though, I'm pretty sure between Tristan and actually between all the presenters, we're pretty good at trying to keep up with some of these animals. I know this is a gamble, but let's just see if Janet Jackson is here. And I think she or he has actually moved holes. First gap. Okay, let's have a quick squiz. Maybe it's going to be a lucky day, and we'll drive on the fire break then. Oh no, Janet Jackson's not home. Oh, okay. Well, better luck next time. Right. It seems as though, however, Tristan's on a roll with his spotted cats. Mr. T is now marking his territory. Let's go and see what route he walks.
Well, he's just disappeared behind that tree, which is the same tree that we had Thamba in the first morning. And I think we might actually lose Tingana if we don't... Oh, no, there we go. He's just hopped up into the tree. So exactly the same as what Thamba did the other day. So there must have been a carcass here. You can see how he's smelling. He's working out very quickly that there must have been another leopard around. I'm just going to go forward for you, Seb, because there's going to be a better view for you in the tree over there. No, don't turn your head now. Typical. As I move, he decides he wants to now reposition himself. But there we go. He's up in the tree, and we at least don't have any branches around. Let's put a little bit of light on so we can see. Now, is he going to go further up? Looks like he wants to, but I don't think he's quite sure about that particular branch. Look at that massive paw that's hanging down. There we go. Now let's just put it down onto the tree stump itself. Seb, I think he might come around this way. There we go. You see he's coming around slowly. He's sniffing, he's looking. I certainly think that there was a carcass here that was unfortunately dropped maybe by Thamba, and then that's why Tingana is sniffing and looking so much. He's picking up the scent of some sort of food item. There we go. How incredible is this? Big male leopard, massive jackalberry tree. It doesn't get any better than that. Wow. Now he's coming down. I'm going to try and keep up with him along the bank here. It's not going to be easy, but let's try and see. James, you're wondering if Tingana would be more relaxed if Thandi was present with Thamba. I think most certainly. I think if Thandi was around, Thamba would be more relaxed, one, and so would Tingana. Tingana's focus would have been on Tundi more than it would have been on Thamba, and he would have probably realized who he's actually dealing with more. The thing is, he hasn't actually been aggressive. He approached Thamba, and he was right on top of Thamba before he noticed him. So Thamba had no idea Tingana was there until Tingana was not even 5 meters away, and Tingana certainly didn't lunge in and try and bite him or anything like that. Thamba lost his nerve and ran because he wasn't sure. I think he's in a different area. It's not an area he's grown up in. This is an area that he's only just starting to spend a lot of time here. And so I think he just got a... He just stood his ground and just watched what was going on. So I don't think there is a negative sort of interaction here at all. It was more just a situation that Thamba got a bit of a fright because it wasn't his mom. He first thought it was his mom. He started calling and chuffing, and then when he realized, hang on a second, this isn't mom, he needs to be careful, he then quickly sort of came running and crossed over. But you see, Tingana's now looping back to where we started. So let's see where he goes. I'm worried that we're going to lose him in all of these thickets. I suppose if we just go back and keep following him along, we should be fine. But sure, crazy. It's all gone absolutely mad. The animals seem to have gone mad today. They're just everywhere, and this is the most epic way to spend an afternoon. Now, just one of the guys trying to get hold of me on the radio. Yeah, well, we just come to exactly where you heard me, or where you bypassed me earlier. You'll find me here. He's just now turned again, going north, back to where Thamba was. So I'm just trying to get around again, back to where we were. But sand and reversing is not really as easy as it looks. Now, hopefully Tingana is going to come out here. I've lost him now completely. He was heading straight towards where I am. So between reversing and trying to keep an eye on a leopard, it's not the easiest thing. So here he should come out, Seb, somewhere around this side. Just hope he hasn't turned and gone back south again, because it's difficult from where we are to be able to see what's going on. Maybe get back up onto this ridge just so that we've got a bit more ability to move. I certainly don't think Thamba is going to come wandering back here. He's seen exactly who this leopard is. He's now realized that this is not a leopard he wants to hang around with. So I doubt very much that Thamba is going to try and come and sneak back towards this area. I think he's going to run northwards, find himself a better spot, a nice thicket that he can hide in, and then try and rest there and stay out of sight. Now, I think I've lost Tingana for now. Let's see. Back where... There he is. I've got him. And he's walking back again towards Thamba. It's just a kind of circle we're doing all the time. It's difficult because it's also not the easiest place to follow a leopard. There he is. There he goes. I think he's still convinced there's a food item here for him. Seb, can I go back there?
Yes.
And then swing your side. It's just trying to keep up with where he's going and how he's moving is not really the easiest. As you can see how much we've been here the last 2 days, because everything is just flattened now. We've got kind of movements and following of all these different cats as we've gone along. So, alright, let's try again. Oh, Seb. Arms are getting a bit of a workout today. I was trying to avoid a nice knob thorn that is sticking into me a little bit at the moment. Ow. That certainly is not comfortable. Knob thorn to the leg. And probably a torn shirt by the time I get through there. There we go. Now, where did he disappear to? I've lost Tingana through all of that. Let's just see if he hasn't. Maybe he went straight across here. Tingana's gone. I seem to have lost him in trying to get around that bush. Yeah, have you got him?
Yeah, on the top.
He's on the top. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get up here, Seb. You think so? Maybe. Let's try. Problem is that angle there. Where can I go now? Hold on, Seb. There we go. So up and over. Luckily, Seb, did you doubt us there for a second? Now, apparently I'm not plugged in anymore because, well, I think, unfortunately, my earpiece has now broken. So, Seb, you're going to have to... The knob thorn has killed my earpiece. So you'll have to feed me through the questions as we go. And I also then don't have any radio comms, which is not ideal. So, Chantal, if you can tell Tayla just to tell the guys on the radio that we're now crossing Twin Dams and we're heading in an easterly direction because I can't talk to the guys on the radio anymore. So they're going to think that I'm being very rude and not responding to them. But our knob thorn, unfortunately, not only impaled my leg, but it seems to have also destroyed my earpiece, which is, well, not the first one this week, unfortunately. And this is what happens when following animals through thickets like this. Seb, if you can just try to keep an eye on him as well. So, river age 10. Okay, so River from age 10 wants to know if it's confusing for the parents, for the cubs, if the parents don't want to stay around.
Yeah,
Alright, so yes, it can be a little bit confusing when the parents don't come for long periods of time. I'm sure these cubs sit here and wonder, where has mom gone and what's been happening and why hasn't she come back to me? But at the end of the day, they know that eventually mom will come back to where she is. Now, I've lost Tingana completely. Where has he gone? So I don't know where he's headed. Oh, there he is. Got him again. Okay, so we're all good. We found him again. So what happens is, I mean, they know that mom will eventually come back, but it is confusing. If you look at Hosana and Shongile, who are our young leopard cubs that unfortunately seem to have been abandoned by the loss of Karula, they unfortunately must have been quite bewildered in the beginning. In fact, they were bewildered in the beginning. We saw them moving around in all the same places that Karula used to lurk in and used to spend time, and they used to try and sort of look for her, you could see. And that's maybe why we've seen them latch on to other leopards as time has gone. So they follow Tundi and they follow Tingana around to try and see if maybe that's going to lead follow Tingana any further. We're now in a situation where it is a complete mess inside here. It really is going to be tough to follow him. I'm just trying to tell the others to come through because otherwise they're going to miss him and he's not going to be able to, like I say, none of us are going to be able to follow him. But there he goes. It's a very dense thicket inside there. I doubt that these guys are going to manage, but you never know, maybe they do. So just trying to wave the other guys on because I think I'm going to leave Tingana there because that inside there is really not very friendly at all. Thanks, Orbs. Sorry, my radio's broken. So I was just telling Orbs because they were trying to find me and like I say, I couldn't really hear what was going on. So he's just moved in that direction, but I think we're going to leave it there because, well, I've already battered Rusty enough and myself, and I'm picking thorns out of not only me, but my steering wheel at this stage. There's thorns everywhere, so we're going to try and carry on, and I might just meander back slowly and see if I can't pick up on Thamba somewhere and try and sort out the mess that is now my radio. But in the meantime, let's cross back to Tayla, who I believe has traded her golden light with her golden boy to well, infrared, dark, black and white to be able to show you Nsuku that much better.
We're going to go into infrared now. Sorry, sensor was just off of the car. There we go. And we've got our friend who has done his first yawn, his second yawn. Ah, okay, that's interesting. I didn't realize that Nsuku had a broken bottom left canine. That's very interesting. I don't know what happened there. I don't know why I've never noticed it. Again, it's probably because I haven't spent much time with this lion, which you can see there, bottom left is just chipped just slightly. Now this is a very good indication, as most of the time when they do start grooming themselves, when they start yawning, they're getting ready to move. Sometimes they fool us though, and they do trick us. It happens on a regular basis, but he's been sleeping for most of the afternoon, and now it's now time to shine, really. Now, Michael, you're wondering if he'll lose his teeth with age. Possibly. The more altercations he gets into with other lions, he could potentially damage his teeth. But I don't think he's necessarily going to lose them, as they'll fall sort of out. They'll definitely wear down to an extent, unless it's a serious injury and there's something that has gone wrong with the root. Then the tooth might fall out. But in my experience, and just with looking at all the lions, you normally just see their canines are exceptionally worn and not quite as sort of sharp as the Birmingham boys' canines are. But I think Nsuku is the oldest. I reckon he must be about 7 years old, just with how full his mane is and the sort of size of his body. I reckon he's closer to 7, and I think Nena's not far off of it. And then Tinyo, slightly older than Mfuma as well. So apparently we've got some children watching today. That's fantastic. Not children, young adults. The 8th graders from Illinois were wondering how old he is. So it's very difficult for us to try and age these animals because we haven't actually seen the Birmingham boys from birth. And the lions of the Nguma pride, which is a pride of lions that we see on a regular basis, and they have their sort of home range in this area. We're lucky because we've watched their cubs when they were born, so we have a really good idea as to how old they are. So we sort of have to estimate. And we suspect the 4 Birmingham boys, I don't think that they're necessarily all related. I think they're from different females from the same pride, and there is a slight age gap. Mfumo to me looks like he's the youngest. He's got the least developed mane, and so I think he must be around 6 now, 6.5, somewhere between there. And then of course Tinyo just after that, probably a couple of months more, and then Nena and Nsuku, who seems to be, well, like I said, the most developed, the biggest mane for the moment. And even when we first started seeing the Birmingham boys, you could sort of clearly see that Nsuku was definitely older than the rest of them. But they're in their prime now. They are the fittest and the healthiest and the strongest they're going to ever be. And this is their time to shine. So what we've done now, if you're wondering, if we have just joined us, wondering why we're in black and white, we're in infrared light. So this light doesn't affect the lions at all. So I don't have my spotlight, no car lights on at all. It's actually quite dark. I can really only see about 20 or 30 meters in front of me with my eyes now, but it will fade fairly quickly. And the infrared light is very important, especially when we have sort of sensitive sightings, such as, say, another altercation between Tingana and Thamba. We'll have the infrared on. You don't want to be putting a spotlight on either of those leopards because you don't want Tingana to have a better chance to find Thamba, or sort of vice versa. And with hunting, it's incredible that we can sort of impact as little on the hunt, and by sitting in infrared in total darkness and sitting quietly, it's amazing. And normally we would do so with guests anyway. You would turn all your lights off and you just have to listen. But of course everybody wants to see the action, and this way we're able to provide it for you. Now we need to sort of figure out which way he's going to go and what he's going to do. But for now he's just going to groom himself a little bit. Now, a couple of cubs in this area. It's hard to say exactly which females he's sired sort of cubs with. I reckon the Styx cubs between him and Nena, because they seem to spend the most time. So the Styx Pride Alliance was that female and that youngster that we saw earlier today. And then I also think maybe the Torchwood Pride, which is another pride that sort of just hangs around slightly east of our traverse. We can't quite get there just yet. There you go. You can see he has to groom his nether regions as well. That's also very important. And I'm trying to think now. And then Tinyo and Mfumo, I reckon, probably Ngahuma Pride will be their cubs, but it's really difficult to say. All of the males, if they're around and the females are in estrus, they'll take turns. They'll actually box with one another and have fights for dominance within the coalition, and one will be dominant for a few days and mate with a female, and then something could happen, tables could turn, another male comes in. So it's very difficult to really know whose cubs are whose, and when you've got a large coalition of lions. Obviously, if you've got one male lion within that area seeing that pride on a regular basis, then of course you can say sort of more accurately, yes, this male has sired these cubs. That's difficult to say, but they all had a chance to mate with the various lion prides within their territory. They're very lucky. They see lots of different prides, and that's very good for their genetics. Obviously, they want to pass on their genetics to as many different lions as possible within the area. What do you think he's going to do, Senzo? I'm not going to put the spotlight on him. I think let's just stay in infrared. We might as well. If we can put less of a light on an animal, it actually makes me a lot happier. Not that he's bothered by our spotlights at all, but again, we're sitting at a watering hole. We know sometimes some of the more shy animals come down in the evenings to have a drink, and even if it's something like a Deka or a Steenbok or whatever it may be, deciding to come down and have a drink, we don't want to put the spotlight on him anyway. And again, what happens if Thamba is in the area too? Or what happens if Tingana comes this way? We want to try and keep everything as natural as possible. And I think infrared is most certainly the way. Obviously, they'll hear me talking, but these animals see us and hear us all the time. There we go. Big stretch. Oh, you all know what a great stretch feels like first thing in the morning. There we go. Where are you going? Let's see. You're going to walk past us. It looks a little bit stiff. That's what happens when you sit in the same spot for so long. Probably got pins and needles. Look, he's going to walk right up to the car. There we go, he's just walking past the car. There is another vehicle in the sighting. They might put a spotlight on him. I'm going to leave our spotlight off of him. There he goes. So I think, don't worry, I don't think he's particularly sore. I think he's just stiff. Let me reposition. Just from, of course, I need to put some light on so I can see where I'm going. But let's go down this way. So I'm just covering my eyes from the presenter light because I can't see what's happening. It blinds me, and I sort of need my eyes. Oh, he's walking right past the other car. Let's get in front. If you ain't first, you're last. Good old Ricky Bobby quotes, eh? I've obviously watched way too many movies on my holiday. Senzo, please can I turn that light down just a little bit, if that's okay? It's a little bit too hectic. There we go. I'm not used to the light again. Here he comes. He's starting to loosen up now too. Let me turn my lights off. Oh, you're a beautiful lion. There he goes. Just walking in front of the car. Now, he's going straight into the Mulwati. No, now he's stopping in front of my car. And he's also indecisive in this moment as to what he's actually going to do. He's a big cat. He's a very, very big cat. He's listening. Very important for these cats to listen to him, and they've got incredible hearing that will determine if he hears another lion. John, you're wondering what I think he thinks of humans. I have absolutely no idea. The day that I learn how to speak lion, I promise I'll let you know. But for now, in the car, he doesn't associate us as humans, I don't think. I think we're very neutral to them. We don't behave as humans normally behaved, or as they used to behave. What's happened? Has our light gone off? Sorry, we seem to have run into technical difficulty. I don't know, when Senzo leveled the camera, something went wrong. So I'm not sure, sorry, Senzo's trying to work on it. I'm not actually sure. Out in the car, they don't like us, but we also look like a threat. We look like a predator. He's going into the Mulwati now. Chantal, we need to sort of figure out what's going on with the infrared. I can see it's flashing, it's going on and off, so I think there's a shortage or something like that. We're trying to figure out exactly as to what's gone on. So we're going to quickly try and just figure out what's going on with this light, but let's go across to Tristan and see if he's still got Tingana.
Now, unfortunately, we haven't managed to find any more signs of little Thamba. I was trying to see where he went, but he's unfortunately disappeared. Well, not unfortunately, rather fortunately he's disappeared. I think he's probably found himself the biggest, deepest thicket to hide in and wait for this threat to pass. But what an eventful time Thamba's had over the last few days. He's really been all over the show. He's had elephants, he's had hyenas, he's had another leopard, lions close by. Certainly has been a tough time for him. Now, Basti, you were wondering how we have such fast internet all the way out here in the bush. Basti, the simple answer to that is that I have not the foggiest clue. Unfortunately, I'm not very clued up with the tech side of all of these things, but somehow, some way, we get internet. Real clue as to how we get such fast internet here. People that do know is all of our tech guys, as well as VM. VM's very switched on when it comes to our tech and to our internet and all of those kind of things, and makes sure that he looks after us and keeps our internet up. So those are the guys that will know. I unfortunately have no clue. I just know that we have a whole bunch of towers, a whole bunch of receivers and wireless networks, and those all get pushed around, and eventually then we get internet at this side. So there is some pattern and some way that it's done. But like I say, animals are what I know. It's not anything to do with tech, unfortunately. Pretty amazing though, isn't it, that we are able to actually get an internet feed all the way out here and be able to show you guys and bring this wildlife and all of these incredible interactions to you guys from the middle of the African bush. It astounds me every day, and now not only from one African bush but two. So we've got one in East Africa and one here, and the fact that you can combine those two, there's still a little gremlin or two here and there, but it's slowly but surely getting much better. And the fact that we can combine two destinations into one drive is just really an amazing situation. Now, I'm still driving blind, so to speak. For us not to have any comms is driving blind, so I'm relying on Sebastian. So if you hear me go quiet for a little bit, it's when Sebastian's getting a question and he's trying to focus, because he can't hear the question if I'm talking, because my voice goes into his ears as well. So if there is a question, I'll go quiet and then I'll be able to answer any questions that are around. So if you can just bear with us, it's better than us just heading home and finishing the drive early and leaving Tayla to man the fort by herself. So we are going to try and stay out as long as we can and try and help out as much as we can over the next little bit. But I think unfortunately we're going to leave little Thamba to himself. I think he's had a long enough day with us. We've spent in excess of I would imagine close to 5 hours with him today, and so he's had a little incident now with another leopard, and it's good just to leave him and let him calm down, let him settle, let him get himself into a good situation. But I was saying to Seb, his reaction to Tingana was absolutely perfect. First, it was priceless in that he thought it was Mom and he was chuffing at her, and we saw him staring, and I said to Seb, I think he spotted something. Are there any of those animals coming that potentially was from the oxpeckers flying over? And he said no, he can't see anything. And then he started to chuff, and I was like, no, there must be another leopard here, maybe Mom is back. And I saw this face peering through the bush, and I thought potentially it could be Tundi, and I was really excited. And then Thamba, you could see the moment of panic on his face when he realized, hang on, my chuffing is not being answered, and this isn't Mom. and then he just picked up tail and ran, and he ran slinked low, which is a very submissive behavior, and that is the perfect way to have responded to Tingana on his own, because had he been confrontational or brazen in any way, he might have got himself into a lot of trouble there. So it was good, he did exactly what he needed to do, and well, even though it's Dad, and Dad is, you know, going to potentially keep him alive by keeping this area safe and from other males, at the end of the day he's still a male, he was on his own, and Tingana is still a big guy, and we know that Tingana can sometimes be a little bit more on the aggressive side, and so it's better that he was more submissive towards Tingana than anything else. So job well done to little Thamba. You're passing many a test at the moment. So we've seen him with, as far as we know, his first kill in the form of a tortoise. He's managed to deal with a herd of elephants. He's now dealt with the male leopard. He's had lions close by, so he certainly has ticked a few boxes, so to speak, on survival 101 from a young individual. So now we're just driving around to try and see if we can't get some nocturnal things. It's been a while since I've actually driven with the spotlights out, so we're going to try and see if we can't find some owls, maybe some bush babies, those kind of things. We only just sort of changed back into our more nighttime drive times, where we've gone a little half an hour later this week, and so it's the perfect timing to be able to actually look around for these things and to see what else could be here. Now I'm just checking the road to see if there's any sign of tracks of maybe Thamba coming all this way, but the only tracks I can see look like for Tingana going south, which are obviously the tracks from where he arrived. So we're going to carry on, see if we can't find some nocturnal animals, and while we do that, let's go back to Tayla, who I think is still with Nsuku. Have no idea, but hopefully he is, and hopefully he's going to let out a big belting roar for all of you.
No, nothing just yet. We're looking for Nsuku. He crossed the Mulwati and he went towards where I presume the sticks were seen this morning. I think he's going to pick up on their scent though and go south. So started going through the Mulwati, and then I saw where where Tristan is, so I didn't want to go on that side. So I think what we'll do is we'll quickly go back. We're just going past Twin Dams now, the dam itself, and we'll go towards Gary Main and then jump onto Leadwood. I wonder if he's not just going to do exactly what the Styx lionesses did. It is also freezing. I can't even tell you. Chantal, do you know what the temperature is if it doesn't lie to us like it normally does? Because it feels like it's about 16 degrees at the moment. It's never. That is absolute hogwash. 69. That's 70, sorry, not even close. It is ice cold. Perhaps it's not taking the chill factor into account, but it's definitely nowhere near 20 degrees Celsius. I can tell you that right now. I even had to give Senzo one of my blankets. Right, let's see. Senzo, can we just turn that big light off, please? So I just want to turn the infrared light off, the main one, because if I don't necessarily want that shining on me all the time. Let's go up here. Just gone through the Mulwati now. There didn't seem to be anything around there. I was hoping to see some chameleons on this evening. I don't think that they're going to be sitting out in the open anymore. I reckon they're probably going to hang low in the lower lying branches where they normally sort of take refuge during the cooler over the moon. I've never been to Kenya before, so I'm very excited, especially with all the things that are going on at the moment, from the cheetahs to the lions to crocodiles, wildebeest crossing. So exciting. I don't know when I'm going just yet. I think it's going to be soon, but there hasn't been a date finalized just yet, so I will let you know when I know, I promise. But I am very, very, very excited. I can't wait. I think I'm going to learn a lot. What I'm most excited about, you get a chance to spend hours and hours with those cheetah brothers. Now, I love cheetah, they're amazing animals, but I feel like I don't know enough about them just because I haven't been able to spend time with them like I've spent time with lions and leopards and hyenas and the various other predators. We used to see them every now and then, but because a cheetah is such a special sighting, especially in the Sabi Sand, the Greater Kruger National Park, and with the lodges that I've worked at, obviously time is precious, animals can cross out of traverse just like they do here, so we'd often have to move out of sightings to make sure that everybody gets a chance. So I don't think I've had spent very many hours. I was trying to think the other day, I reckon I've maybe had 20 hours, maybe 25 hours of sort of cheetah time. I think some of the longest, I think there's a lion. Who's there? I think we've got him again. Oh no, it's an impala, that's not a lion. So I'm very excited to go out and watch what cheetah sort of do. So, oh, the scrub hare. So there's so many things to see, so many things to look at, I don't know where to point anything. Scrub hares. You better be careful because there was a lion coming this way. What I'll do, I'm going to trade. I'll just put a not so harsh light on them. I'm not really putting the light on them at all. I don't know. I'm just sort of putting it next to them so you can just sort of see them moving. And there's some impala around here too. No alarm calls just yet. This is a very good spot to be to work in the herbivores sort of side tonight with all the wind. You know, if a lion does come moving through here and does step on some crispy leaves, they might hear it and it might give them a chance to get away. But we won't keep that light on the scrub hares for too long. They don't like it. Right, what else are we going to find down this road? I don't know. I can't really pinpoint whereabouts this lion is going to pop out. It was very, very, very difficult to try and follow him through a tamboti thicket at night. It's hard enough to do something like that during the day, so we'll just have to wait for him to bump out. But interested? Oh, right. We have found an elephant. Should we go back into infrared again? Senzel's just got to play with all his tools. He's got to connect little gadgets, but there's an elephant that's just near us. I'm going to turn this presenter light off. Hello, elephant. You're not so sure about us, are you? No. Not a happy camper. Not that it's flaring and trumpeting and saying, get away from me, or anything like that. A young bull. But wary. Remember, their eyesight is not as good as a lion's eyesight at night, but to view them in this infrared is fine. And he's probably a little bit, maybe not as comfortable with our presence as he would during the day. So we'll just see how he goes. If he does show any agitation, he's walking towards us now and he seems fairly happy. We'll make a decision whether to leave him or not. It's very important to respect the animals out here. As fantastic as it is to have them on camera all the time, we need to make sure drive around them. And the best thing to do is actually just to sit quietly. Or sometimes, if it's a breeding herd and you don't have infrared like us and you actually just want to get through the sighting, it's just to keep moving at a constant speed but at a very sort of slow pace too. And you'll find that you can move through the entire herd with maybe one or two cows sort of looking at you, maybe shaking their heads, but that's really it. That's sort of the best way to get through a sighting, especially if you're worried that you're going to be trapped or cornered. Remember, you don't want to do that with an elephant. You don't want to get yourself stuck. Let's see where he's gone. No, he's hiding in the tambotis. No one else. Okay, well, we can carry on then. I don't blame him for wanting to spend most of the day in, of course, our chair. Right. I'm going to send you back across to Tristan now. I don't know where he is. Let's see how he's doing and if he's excited to go to Kenya.
Now, I'm just limping slowly home, feeling very sorry for myself at the moment because I've got no audio and it's quite weird driving around without being able to hear what's going on around you. So it is like being blind, exactly, Seb. So it's super weird driving around, but anyway, it's okay, it's fun. Seb is doing a sterling effort feeding through what I need to know. And I believe, Monique, you were wondering if, well, Taylor's excited to go to Kenya, and if I'm excited to go to Kenya. I certainly am excited to go to Kenya. It's always very special to explore a new place as a guide, and to spend time and learn and to see new things and to grow in terms of your experiences in the world, whether that be natural or just seeing new cultures and new places. I have spent a bit of time in Kenya already, so it's not so much the new culture side of things, because I do know that area, but it's more just about learning about the actual wilderness there, and the Mara system and how it fits together, and especially how it's going to be when the migration leaves as opposed to when the migration is there. All of these things are really exciting, and to just go and spend time with friends again. There's a lot of friends that I have up there, and you know, we're such a tight-knit group, not only here at Djuma but also the team that's up in the Mara, and so it's going to be so good to go and see all of the friends that are up there. So especially Brent and Jamie, that's, you know, I've spent a lot of time with those two, and I do miss them being around. You know, hear all their stories and listen to what they've got to say, and to just learn from them as well. And obviously Scott and all of the team that's up there, those are all friends of mine, and so I'm super looking forward to catching up with them, as well as obviously the wilderness experience, which will be just all these different things that we see there as opposed to here. The problem is I'm probably going to be missing leopards far too much. I'm completely leopard besotted, and that means that it's going to be probably a tough little time, and I'll have to just follow other spotted cats and enjoy the frenzy of the lionesses and all kinds of other things. The thing is, though, is by the time I get there, in all likelihood, most of the migration will have left, so I'll be doing the stint at this stage after that, so it'll be probably a little quieter when I go there in terms of the masses of wildebeest, which is okay. It's certainly not a major train smash, and I certainly will be just fine to just go and see it. And I think the other side of it is just to admire those beautiful views of that particular part of the world. It is absolutely stunning. Now I'm going to carry on limping my way home. I'm going to slowly head back. I'm not far now, and we're going to go back to Tayla so she can wrap things up of what's been an incredible afternoon and a really good welcome back to our friend Miss McCurdy.
Went quite far up it, and no success, no tracks just yet of our dear friend Nsuku, who spent most of the afternoon making baboon. Might as well, let's just carry on. We'll just go all the way up to Ndam's, and that'll be our sort of route home. Who knows, maybe we bump into him now. He could have changed direction, and of course there's Thamba on the cards. We don't really know where he went, but I'm sure he is hiding away, which is a very good thing to do, because it seems as though Tingana is looking for him. So I hope that Thamba finds a good resting spot until Mom comes back. Hang on, what did I just see now? I saw eyes, but they could have been eyes. You were never going to see that. It's a bush baby. It's so far away. And I just saw the glowing little eyes bouncing from tree to tree. Pity about that. Sometimes those little critters are really hard to get on camera, especially when they're so far off. No one's come down for a drink. Just scan quickly. But nothing else around just yet. And we're in for some chilly weather, I presume. So we're going to have to keep bundled up. I'm sure Tristan's going to take coffee out on drive as he normally does. I need to get myself a flask. I think I need to join in on the coffee trend. And then hopefully, once the cooler weather sort of moves away, we'll be able to start seeing some of the nocturnal creatures that prefer the warmer weather. I did actually see a porcupine quill on the ground today. That was quite nice. So there's some hope for that. Friends of mine, I have to quickly tell you, were in Kruger 2 days ago, and they actually watched a young leopard chase porcupine up the road during the day. I'm so envious of them. So it's amazing what you can sometimes see in the big national parks. It's all about right place. Of course, now do we? We're quite good. We battled with them in the beginning, but we showed them, and hopefully we'll continue showing them over the next few days, and they don't interrupt our feed. But it really has been an unbelievable, overwhelming welcome back. I've had all sorts of emotions running through my body. It's been so great, and I'm really happy that I got to experience it with all of you. And I hope you got some screenshots. Remember, we love to see them, so share them with us. #Safari Live. Even if you only go through, perhaps you've only just going to watch the show now, as we put it out after we finish and we're not live anymore. We still be really good to see them, because I'm sure Tristan will appreciate it. I don't know how many shots he managed to get himself, but we're not going anywhere, as you know. As long as the gremlins keep away, we'll still be around for tomorrow morning. So for most of you, I know, well, you're just starting your day, aren't you? I hope you have a wonderful day at work or school, and make sure you do all your homework and all those types of things. And, well, we will see you, of course, tomorrow morning for the sunrise safari, probably wrapped up in beanies and scarves and coffee in hand, but nonetheless, we'll be there.